Hi, I'm Larry Micarenda, and welcome to Brookhaven Council Update. And with me today is Kathleen Walsh, Councilwoman from District 3. Kathy, great to have you back on the show. So many things to talk about. One of the saddest things in Brookhaven that we hate to see go is summertime. It's always, every single year, it's too short. But what a summer it was for the 3rd District. So many things, so many events, starting with Memorial Day weekend. You mind telling the public a little bit about that?
We've been so busy in District 3, as throughout the town of Brookhaven. Between Memorial Day parades, our civic communities have had some great events that I was able to be part of and sponsor, that being Movies in the Park, where they set up the screen on the field and everyone comes out with their families and gets to do the outdoor, remember the old time drive-in movies? Right. That's kind of the feel that these events give. We did one at Hobbs Farm, we did one at Center H. Jimmy McNaughton Field, and it was a great summer. It was hot. It was brutal. Center Ridge pool attendance was through the roof. A lot of the kids out there enjoying the pool and the spray park. So we've had a busy summer.
And a couple of highlights to mention in the district: the Hawkins Elementary School.
Hawkins Elementary School is having a big anniversary, their 50th anniversary. It's Middle Country School District started out much smaller and grew as we went through, as all the districts throughout Brookhaven. But Hawkins Road Elementary School, which is right around the corner from where I live, is celebrating their 50th anniversary. So they're going to be doing a lot of celebrations this year. Last year or the year before, it was Bicycle Path's anniversary, and that's the elementary school that I went to. And the parents, the volunteers, they're all trying to find things to do in the community on a shoestring budget because everybody is fiscally so tight. So everyone is kind of coming together and figuring out what we can do to keep the families entertained and pull everyone together and make them feel like they're part of a community, part of something special. And they're doing a good job.
And one of the best things about the 3rd District is that spirit of volunteerism that you see absolutely everywhere. A lot of people may not notice that don't live in that district, but it's definitely there. And kudos has to go out to both the Center Reach Fire Department and the Sullivan Fire Department, who just celebrated something, right, this year?
Yes, Center Reach Fire Department also had another big anniversary. And they sponsor the parades in the community. These men and women that go out and put themselves in harm's way for our benefit. Many people just take it for granted that if something goes wrong, our fire department's going to show up at the scene of an accident. A fire, the toaster goes on fire, the kitchen alarms go off. Even the alarms, the personal house alarms, are now tied in to our fire departments. So many people don't really, I don't say they don't appreciate, but they don't realize how much time these volunteers, these men and women, take away from their families in order to be able to help us. And like I said, the parades that they've put together and the events, we're going to be having an Oktoberfest. Selden Fire Department is doing an Oktoberfest. They just did a car show. Farmingville Fire Department does a cruise night where they bring in old cars, and they're up at Bald Hill, up at the amphitheater, and they put together a nice night. It's a place for families to go and be together and not spend a whole lot of money.
And speaking of nice nights, I have to say I was lucky enough to get down to the first street fair, which was in Center Reach. And what a hit. It was a lot of fun.
I'm so glad you were able to make it. It was phenomenal. We had 3 this summer in Council District 3. We had a street fair in Farmingville. I think that was their 2nd annual Farmingville Street Fair. Ronkonkoma has been doing it for quite a few years, and theirs is always a tremendous success. And Center Reach had their first street fair, which was phenomenal. The weather was beautiful, and the turnout was, and it's people from all over. People from all over come. And I'm glad you were able to make it out there.
And, well, like I said, that's one of the great things about District 3. It's not exactly hard to get to. It is pretty much the center of Brookhaven. You know, they used to say, what, a river runs through it? Well, 25 runs through it, you know. And
Center each, the
yeah,
center
well,
of the island.
that's one of the best things about it. And the small business owners, which we've talked about before on this program. I've seen you at many grand openings, and I'm happy to say that most of those small businesses survived, and they're still going strong in District 3.
Yes,
which is
they
good.
are. The small businesses are. We have a great chamber of commerce. You know, we have a couple in the area that I represent, and another group of volunteers that really come together and try to figure out the best way to get their message out and keep things local. And with everyone leaning towards the green lifestyle, that's important to a lot of people. Shopping local, keeping things in-house, keeping our kids here, giving them job opportunities while they're in school, while they're in college, while they're home from college. As a matter of fact, we have coming up a Better Business Advisory Expo coming up at the town of Brookhaven. When are we coming up? September 26th, so hopefully we'll have this aired at the time that this comes up. And it's the Brookhaven Business Expo. And it's a networking and business trade show that's going to be held at Town Hall from 5:30 to 8. And we'll have different vendors, different businesses set up in the lobby of Town Hall. Not in the lobby, but in the cafeteria at Town Hall, back behind where we have the board meetings. And it gives people an opportunity to showcase their local businesses and also local community members to come and find out what job opportunities might be out there.
And I know for a fact that you've worked very well in the past with the civics and the Chamber of Commerce. Especially kudos out to the Ronkonkoma Chamber of Commerce, who's always, they got to be one of the most inventive Chamber of Commerces out there.
They always have something going on.
And it's really a good thing, because that's what chambers should really be doing, hosting these events and everything. And we want to bring that sense of community. And you know, it's definitely happened in the 3rd, and we hope it spreads out and to all the other towns, as well as to all the other districts in the town of Brookhaven.
Yeah, the chambers are really, and Ronkonkoma Chamber in itself, and they border Islip and Brookhaven, so they capture a very diverse group of businesses. And they're doing a fabulous job.
I think there's also a little slice of Smithtown also in there too. So
You're
it's
right.
like, there are the 3 corners instead of the 4 corners. It's like the 3 corners
Yeah.
over there. But they've been working very hard. They've been trying to get. They finally got the county to remove an eyesore that was out there around Ronkonkoma that they were working on. All these other things that just really great to see this type of community spirit in District 3, and kind of throughout Brookhaven. It's spreading. It's like it's starting from the center and it's going out.
Well, everyone is realizing and feeling the economic crunch we're in. And I think the tides are starting to turn. For a while there, we had applications were coming through for change of zones for businesses, and they take a long time to work them out, massage them, and get a project that we can be supportive of. And finally, upon accepting some of these changes, then the businesses were not able to get the financing from the banks. So some projects that we had expected and hoped to see happen still have not come to fruition because of the economics, the economy, the sheer situation that we're in right now with the economy. But one exciting business that we have coming to the Center Reach area, and it's been a long time coming, is Texas Roadhouse. It's coming in on the corner of Nichols Road and 25. So there was a partnership with the school district. They gave the town, not that they gave, they sold the owner of the property some land, some excess land that the school wasn't going to use. And they were able to put together a nice portfolio for a nice sit-down restaurant that is going to be good for the economy. It's a good tax revenue for the school district. It's a destination for people in the community. It's right down the road from Suffolk Community College. So we're real excited about that. That's one of the projects that's coming through that's been very positive.
And Kathy, also one of the things that's been always dear to your heart, and I'm happy to mention this over and over again, is the veterans. You've constantly been a spokesperson to be out there for the vets, for both personal and work reasons, to help them and anything everything away that they could. And, you know, one of the things that I'm happy to report from our last show is that the town of Brookhaven now has its own part-time veterans advisor on the board.
Well, we've always had a part-time veterans person. We had a gentleman, John Rago, that was doing a phenomenal job. There have been some changes that, to be quite honest with you, I was somewhat resistant to. I really believe that we should have stayed with the program that we had. But we do have a gentleman that we give the county the funding for his salary, and he comes in part-time, and he's assisting in the paperwork end. But we still have all the volunteer programs. We do a food collection drive in the lobby of town hall, not food, but yeah, food and anything people want to donate for the veterans that we use. We work with Boots on the Ground. We have an upcoming honor flight that is where we take the World War II vets down to Washington, D.C., and it's at no cost to them at all. And so it's one of those things that I believe that the vets think it's too good to be true. How can I not pay nothing for this? But it is, and they go down, they spend the day in Washington, D.C., and the goal is to get every World War II vet to see their memorial before they depart. And anyone watching the show that has a loved one that served during World War II, the average age is up there. It's 80-something. But we have guardians, which I've attended 5 flights. You escort these veterans down. They get to see their memorial, and they're greeted by the Washington community is phenomenal when they land at the airport.
Heroes welcome?
Absolutely a hero's welcome. Absolutely.
And they all deserve it.
They all deserve it. And you are guaranteed to shed tears that day. They take donations to offset the cost. They work with Southwest Airlines. MacArthur Airport is phenomenal. That's the airport we arrive and depart out of. And they treat them to the hero's welcome they deserve. And so many of the World War II vets are so humble. And it just brings them right back to the energy they get from taking this trip is phenomenal. And the other thing that I've been attending many of is the welcome homes that we do at MacArthur Airport. Whenever a military member is coming home from a deployment or a tour of duty, there are groups of patriots that gather at MacArthur Airport, and we line the walkway and welcome them home.
So like a coat of arms with the arms up, the heroes welcome when they come.
Absolutely. It's phenomenal. And again, you go on a website, I believe the website is Boots on the Ground, and they let you know when these events are coming, and everyone is welcome to go there and just say a thank you. And the family is just so thrilled to see the response for their children, grandchildren, nieces, nephew coming home from service, as well as the veteran themselves comes through the door, because they don't necessarily know this is happening.
And I have to say, one of the gems in Center Reach for veterans, and I know you've been there plenty of times, and Joe Caracappa has been there with you, and Rose Caracappa, the Center Reach VFW, and the work that they do for the veterans.
They're a great group of guys. Recently, they've had a lot of work done on their facility, and in part, thanks to many people, they've been able to get some grants from Senator Flanagan, Congressman Bishop. They needed to get roof work done. We partnered with them in getting their parking lot done, and they are adjacent to the field that we named after Jimmy McNaughton. We put a beautiful baseball field in there. It was Center Reach Ball Field. It's now a multi-purpose field, and we named it after James McNaughton, the first New York City police officer that was killed in the line of duty. And it happens to be adjacent to the Center Reach VFW. So what we did was we put a memorial plaque there that gives a summary of Jimmy, who he was, as opposed to just putting a name on a sign.
Cold stone, yeah.
When you go there, if a family goes there, if a team is practicing there, my hope is they'll take a moment and read this little memorial stone to see that he was a special person. He was a kid that played on that field. His mom and dad are still right in the neighborhood, right around the corner from there. And the VFW, the Center Ridge VFW, takes great pride in having that as part of their backyard.
Another thing that you had just mentioned, the parks. The improvements that have been made in the parks in District 3. It's taken a couple of years, but God bless the Parks Department. They did a great job. It looks beautiful. I just went out, saw the Parks building, the green machine, as it's called. It's all green. It's beautiful.
Yeah, the Parks Administration building is beautiful. It's the first LEED certified government building in the town of Brookhaven, first of all, and we even have a geothermal component that hopefully someday, when we get to the point when we have the funding, we're going to have to redo that pool. It's old.
Right.
And if we can tie in the geothermal component and get it heated, it would make it much easier for those poor kids that go in there for swimming lessons at the beginning of the summer when it's freezing. And we've done some phenomenal renovations at the pools. Our parks guys are fabulous. We've had some vandalism. We've had situations where people have come in. I just got a call to go down to a park in Selden that the kids had put the bench on fire. And this resin material is not easy to get started. So obviously they used an accelerant, and it's terrible, but we can't give up. Right. What we have to do is continue to provide the positive and safe environments. Times are tough financially, and our parks guys are working short-staffed, but they're doing a great job, and the improvements have been good in parks. One of the most exciting things we have coming up within our parks department is Selden is going to be getting a dog park.
Yes, now I'd heard about that, and that was going to be my next question. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, we're hoping to start within the next 2 weeks. It is on Boyle Road, behind the King Cullen Shopping Center, and what it is it's going to be not like the Middle Island Dog Park. It's going to be a little bit different. It's a very green area, and what we hope to do is just clear some trails, so that put some benches in, some collection stations for the dog waste, and just an off-leash park where people can go with their dogs. We're going to have a small parking area off the roadway so that people can park there, and it's adjacent to a children's park, a little bit of a buffer, and it's going to stay green. And as I said, we're just going to cut some trails through. The group I've been working with is already applying for grants to do some more extensive work, because we're looking to do basically at this time just a fenced off area where people could go with their pets, because our town code does not allow pets in the parks.
Right.
So more and more people have been asking the socialization of people that maybe don't have their children home anymore. They've gone off to college, elderly couples, even young families. They want to go out. They want to interact with their pets.
Man's best friend. He's part of the family.
He is part of the family. I mean, I have my dog from the shelter. She's 14 years old. She probably wouldn't be a candidate for the park. She's not real social. But she's part of the family.
Right.
And we're really, really excited to be able to do this. It was difficult to find a location, because you have to make sure that it's not too intrusive on the residential. But at night, it's not a nighttime thing. There's no lights or anything like that. So at dusk, it'll shut down and it'll be quiet in the evening for the families. And during the day, the people could take their dogs there.
Now, just getting back on what you were saying about vandalism, there's always going to be people in the community who are either bored or just for whatever reason decide to do destructive behavior. One of the most destructive behaviors that both the supervisor and the rest of the town board, as well as yourself, have been cracking down on is illegal apartment and illegal housing. And District 3 is no different than any other district. Can you tell the public a little bit about that?
Yeah, District 3, we have a big issue with, no, maybe not a big issue, but we definitely have an issue with the illegal apartments. First of all, it's an affordable area to live. It's not through the roof. It's very affordable. So the working families, many people, are trying to supplement their mortgage by renting out parts of their home. And what's happening with that is it's affecting the quality of life of the community. It's affecting our school districts. People are paying taxes on a single family, and yet they're
multifamily dwellings.
They're multifamily dwellings. We've got additional trash pickup. We've got additional kids in our schools, additional people on our roadways. So recently what we've done is the town code has been amended. It used to be 8 unrelated people. You could have up to 8 unrelated people in a house. We've amended that and changed it. And if someone wants to rent a house, they have to come in, they have to apply for a rental permit, and it has to be owner occupied if they're going to rent a portion of their house. And as we get the calls between working with the law department as well as the building department, we're trying to, as best we can, we have to be sensitive to the fact that people need places to live. But on the other hand, the majority of us, this is our biggest investment, is our home. There's no second home that we're owning.
Right.
This is it. This
Right.
is our inheritance for our kids. This is our biggest investment. And we have to make sure that the quality of life is protected. We did some amendments to the town code recently with the parking issues, because people were parking on front lawns, and we're trying to, without being an ogre and government micromanaging everything, being considerate to the quality of life and common sense kind of things. You know, the grass gets so high, well, that is a breeding spot for mosquitoes and it's just unattractive. So you would like to think that most people would maintain their home in a presentable way. And government should not have to be involved in that. But unfortunately, we do.
And one of the big things that we had mentioned on the last show, and I'll mention it again on this one, and now that it has basically come to fruition, was that we have these bank-owned properties in District 3 and other areas of the town of Brookhaven, where the banks thought that I can let the grass go 5 feet high. I can let vandals come in here and smoke drugs and turn these abandoned houses into crack houses. Well, the town of Brookhaven said, no, not anymore. You own the property, you're responsible for the property. You're the bank, we don't care if you're a bank or a regular homeowner, you take care of your property or you're going to get fined.
You're going to get fined, and if you do not do it, we will hire someone to go in and do it, and we will charge you on your tax bill.
Because it has to stop. And people don't realize that an abandoned house in your neighborhood, even on your same block, it could be 2 houses away or something like that, your property value is going down.
It's going down.
And, you know,
And we all, I don't think there's anyone within the town of Brookhaven that doesn't have, within a 2-block radius, an empty house. So they need to be kept up. They can't be left to fall into disrepair. They have to be secure. And again, if they're not taking care of the grass, we'll send someone in to do it. I know myself at night when I go out and walk with the dog, I usually have a bag I bring with me. And I'll pick up, you got those flyers, the vendors throw the flyers out. And the abandoned houses, you'll see 4, 5, 6 bags in the driveway.
right.
As a good neighbor, you just pick them up and throw them in. What time does it take me as I'm walking the dog at night to just clean up a little bit along the roadways?
Right. Well, everybody does their part. And my next question before we wrap things up is, where do you see the future of District 3 going in the next couple of years?
Well, I would like to.
What would you like to see?
Where I would like to see District 3 going is that we continue to get some of these buildings that are vacant, both on Portion Road and on Middle Country Road. We encourage tenants to come in. You know, the vacancy rate is kind of high. So we're hoping that we can start to see the economy turning around and these businesses thrive again. We've got some open space acquisitions that I'm hoping that come through. One of them is a piece of property that was an old diner. We're talking about reclaiming it. It's not green space right now,
Right.
but similar to what we did recently at the on East Main Street in Patchogue, the car dealership. We purchased the building, the grounds. The building came down, and it's going to be reclaimed as green space. It's kind of out of the box thinking for acquiring open space,
Right.
but we need to do that. We need to think outside the box. We are currently in the middle of the budget cycle at the town of Brookhaven. It's going to be another very difficult year. Our departments are operating on shoestrings. The building department, the lines are so long for people to get services, to get seen. We need to really think about, as the economy turns around, not only does it help the residents by being able to expedite their application processes, but for us as town owners, people want to, as the town operating, we receive revenue from the applications, the upgrading of property, the additional tax revenue we bring in by people being in compliance. So we need to really look long and hard at our upcoming budget cycle and do our best to make sure that we have every department operating at their top performance, with the people being limited in the departments.
And a lot of people don't realize that, the town budget is like your household budget. If you borrow the money, you have to pay it back. You may be paying at a higher interest. You put it on your credit card. It all adds up. And it's very, very hard. And to me, I think the town board has done a great job, as well as the town supervisor, really trying to straddle a picket fence, because you don't want to raise taxes and you don't want to cut services anymore. Very tough job. But we're basically out of time, Kathy, and I wanted to thank you for coming on to Council District Update and letting us know everything that good and bad that has gone on in District 3. And we're hoping to get you back here maybe at the end of the year or beginning of next year to talk about some more subjects.
I would love to come back.
Until next time, I'm Larry Mike Arenda for the Brookhaven Government Access Channel. Take care, and we'll see you right here.
Hi, I'm Councilwoman Kathleen Walsh, representative from Council District 3 in the town of Brookhaven. Please feel free to reach out to me with any concerns or questions you might have regarding issues in the town of Brookhaven relevant to District 3. My phone number is 451-6647, and you can also reach me via email on the email address listed below. Thank you.